If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
It's about growing indoors over winter. Many people believe that the garden season only, some people think gardening only runs from Memorial Day here in the Midwest area to about Labor Day, but we can grow indoors, and this particular segment is sponsored by Happy Leaf LED.
Happy Leaf LED, the segment is sponsored by Proudly Made in the USA, a grow light for beginners or advanced indoor gardeners. They have universal LED recipe. That means you just turn it on and watch your leafy greens, herbs, vegetables, any plant really grow and thrive. It's anywhere, anytime gardening. A professional grade grow light with a home gardener's affordability. No fans, no motors, just plug it in and grow. Find out more and visit happyleafled.com and use code WBG at checkout to save 5% on orders of $50 or more.
Yeah, they have a variety of different sizes of grow lights and kits in which you can grow indoors at your home or on your desk at work all year round.
Yeah, they have a cute little
garden in a box.
Garden in a box, yep.
So, with that being said, number one, we need a good grow light. So we've got the Happy Leaf LED grow lights that we can utilize, whether you're in a 4-inch light, a 17-inch light, a 33-inch light, or beyond. They are made in the USA, and the owner actually invented and understands the light waves and all of that spectrums.
Right, he's the creator, and it's a nice small business.
So you can also grow in hydroponics and aquaponics. We'll touch briefly on those, but we're mainly going to focus on the grow light and growing indoors in soil medium because that's the most affordable or most easy to do for anyone. Aquaponics is the practice of growing vegetables, fruits in water. You put a nutrients in that water, and the roots grows into the water. The roots root in the water. You use other material, stones to grow through, other type of mediums, and then you got to keep the pH regulated. You've got to give the nutrients for it. So it's a little more of a, if you're new to it, fidgety type of getting things balanced. Some things grow really well, other things have issues. And then aquaponics is the practice of growing in that same type of condition, but instead of using nutrients in the water, you're supplementing that nutrients with fish from another area, and you're bringing that fish, essentially fish waste that's in the water, running it through the system in order for the plants to pick up the nutrients in which is needed to grow correctly or properly. So it's a little more in-depth in the hydroponic and aquaponic type of growing. We've done hydroponics on a very, very small scale. Oh, it's called a one-bucket system. Worked really well for greens.
Work well, yeah.
But again, you've got to have grow lights if you're not going to have it next to or near or outdoors type of thing.
Right. So if you don't want to, maybe you want to just try this out and see what happens this winter and then decide if you want to invest next winter or later on. You can do something like planting herbs or leafy greens by a south-facing window.
Right. And to get the ultimate use of this, in order to grow these, we would recommend the LED light, not simply because they're sponsoring the program, but because we've used that product. We use the Happy Leaf LEDs, and it's phenomenal the way it works. And they say if you use it year round, it's the cost of about $12 in utilities. So what are the easiest things in which we can grow indoors? If we're going to go easy and simple, we don't want to try to grow cucumbers or pumpkins or tomatoes indoors, which we have grown successfully tomatoes indoors. Does require some space.
Leafy greens are ideal. Mm-hmm. Herbs are ideal. We grow herbs year round in a window.
Right.
Inside. So you don't have to have anything difficult. One thing to keep in mind is that you could end up with soil gnats, but they don't last very long.
Right.
But it is something that, you might have
Now, if you go with a soilless medium.
Right, you go with a soilless medium, but then you have to add the nutrients.
Right.
So it's kind of like what do you want to do?
And we've got plenty of videos online that shows how to grow indoors in a variety of different ways. And there's a lot of great resources online. But leafy greens, we're talking lettuces, is probably the easiest one. Now, when you plant lettuce, keep in mind that with the particular Happy Leaf LED light, you can get 3 trays under one set of lights, and it will do just fine.
And when he's talking about 3 trays, he's talking about the 10 by 20 inch trays, not like small, tiny trays. Like
so we want to space and time out when we plant these items, because we don't want to plant 3 square feet of leaf lettuce and it all get ready for example, it's already on Tuesday, I can't, or you can't particularly eat 3 square feet of leaf lettuce, 3 cubic square feet. So you plant 1 tray or a half a tray this week and a half a tray next week and space that out so you have a continuous harvest.
But you can do like radishes too.
Yeah, you can do radishes.
You can do like root crops. That's not a problem. Maybe some carrots.
You need depth.
But you do need the depth. So you have to keep that in mind as well. The nice thing about the Happy Leaf LED grow light is that you can lower it easily. You can make it higher easily. But you don't have to worry about it like necessarily being too close because it does cascade a nice light overall.
But if we're going to grow something simple, I would say leaf lettuce is an easy thing to do. And the recommendations on leaf lettuce, I believe it's like 12 plants per square foot. And you can see videos and photographs on all our platforms where we actually take leaf lettuce seed and we coat it the soil to where you can't see the soil. So where there's thousands upon thousands of seeds, and it looks just like grass growing. It's so intensely packed. You're utilizing the space you have available, and you can cut and come again on those particular things.
I would definitely try growing, like if you want to have something fresh aside from leaf lettuce, herbs, but even things like chives. Chives are nice to have in different recipes, in your eggs, whatever. Those are nice to have.
And depends on what you're growing, the device in which you need to plant it in. It makes sense. Even indoors, the smaller the device, the smaller the unit of soil mass, the quicker it's going to dry out because the dryness of the air in the house over the winter, the heat sucks that moisture out. So you want to keep that in mind as well. If you want to do something that you really don't need a grow light for, microgreens.
Yeah, microgreens are easily grown on a windowsill.
What are microgreens? Because we can get this at sub shops. Do you want microgreens?
Are you talking about sprouts?
Sprouts. Okay, let's go with sprouts first.
Okay.
There's a difference here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sprouts are basically sprouted seeds.
Okay.
You don't need anything fancy. You just need a glass jar. It doesn't have to be a mason jar, just a glass jar. And then you can use like an old piece of screening or some old pantyhose, whatever, to put over the top of that jar so that you can put water in there and rinse the water out.
It can breathe.
Yeah, and it can breathe too, but you need to be able to strain it a little bit too. So you start with your seeds. Most people do like radish seeds, smaller seeds, carrot seeds. You can sprout those. We sprouted pumpkin seeds, and that was disgusting. Yeah. So the smaller the seeds, the better. You get better tasting sprouts. So
beets seeds.
Beets,
Swiss chard, that type of brassica.
Yeah. So you just kind of soak them, rinse them, and then after a few days, they'll start to grow, and then within less than a week, you'll have a good amount of sprouts.
Now let's talk about microgreens, since we brought that term up.
Microgreens are typically just smaller pieces of lettuce.
Right. Or other plant like beets or cabbages or broccoli that's just sprouted up that you can cut and eat right away. It doesn't regenerate a new plant once you harvest that small 1 or 2 or 3 inch tall plant that you're harvesting. So it's a very quick turnaround. There's a lot of nutrient based. It's very nutrient dense. So that's something that you can look at, that you can do in trays or in pots. But again, it's not like lettuce where you cut the leaf lettuce, and it comes back. These are a one and done deal.
One and done, yep.
So other things in which we can grow indoors, we have been able to grow successfully bush beans because those are self-pollinating. We want to avoid, for the most part, growing plants in which need pollination. I mean, we got a dwarf lime tree in the kitchen in which we have to physically hand pollinate with Q-tips from the male and female flower. But for the vegetable or green line, tomatoes, we've been able to do that successfully. Again, we've had to elevate the light higher in that area versus other areas where the plants are smaller. So what we find is the greens seem to be the best way to go. The repetitive or the quickness of the greens. Again, you can do spinach, Swiss chard. It's very easy to do. And you can get very lush, large plants out of those particular...
But I think it's also good to point out that you can do herbs.
Yes.
Because you pay a lot of money at the store for fresh herbs. So if you can grow them, year-round, inside or outside, wherever you decide to grow them, but in the winter you can grow them inside, then you have the ability to save money and you kind of have something nice and green growing in your house.
And it does, to a certain level, purify the air. These things do clean some of the air, and based on the specific plants in which you're growing, has more of an effect than other plants. So just a small little snippet of things you can grow indoors. It doesn't have to be, we're done, it's winter. We can grow herbs, we can grow greens. We definitely grow lettuce indoors over the winter months, and you can do it even on just the window next to the patio type of thing, but you want a preferably south-facing window at best to make it work. You could do east. That will work as well. We've made east windows or east window work as well as west. North, you're not going to have the success that you would because it's just a very dark area of the property whenever you don't have the sun on the north side. Thank you for checking out the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show. For more, go to the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com for full-length in-studio video and podcast replay of Season 1. Season 2 underway and added weekly. Tweet us at TWVG Show or hashtag TWVG to be part of the program.